Welcome to Theme Weavers, your weekly wisdom for weaving yoga themes into your classes. We're your hosts, Heidi
and Farron. Welcome, yoga teachers, to episode 5 of Theme Weavers. Today we're going to talk about Samskaras, which are introduced in Sutra 1.18 and then revisited in Sutra 1.50 with the benefits of exploring your Samskaras. In case this is the first episode you're listening to, you can check out episode 2 of Theme Weavers podcast for details and background on how to structure and weave themes throughout your yoga class. We're going to talk to you, fellow yoga teacher, as if you're our students. If you choose to use today's teaching on Sutras 1.18 or 1.50 as your theme, just in general, Samskaras, then take advantage of our inspo sheet and find a way to turn our voices into yours. Make this theme authentic to you.
Here's the interesting part of the sutra, though. It actually has very little to do about samskaras itself. It's more about reaching a state of samadhi, this blissful result of living yoga, and how when we find this bliss, we are no longer impacted or influenced by our samskaras. I think it's relevant to Sutra 1.18 too, which really focuses on what samskaras are. And then we know later on in 1.50 that the benefit is reaching this state of samadhi, right? Don't you think, Sarah?
Absolutely. Yes, that's exactly how it plays out.
Awesome. So in classes where I teach about samskaras, I generally set an intention to do some self-excavation. We look at where in our practices we are stuck in a habit and whether that habit serves us or not. In the Yoga Sutras, Patanjali talks about samskaras, which refer to the impressions that we have created based on past actions and experiences that we've lived through. They are things like our habits of our thoughts, the habits of our emotions, the habits of our behaviors that are so deeply ingrained that we might not even notice them happening. Or if we do notice them, we most likely have no idea where they came from or why. So it's not really until we start doing the inner work that we can begin to see these samskaras, our deep-seated habits, for what they truly are. Why do we need to look at these grooves, these samskaras that we've created? What's the point of it all? If the whole purpose of yoga is to reach a place of samadhi, of oneness of all that is, a sense of true stillness, then we need to be able to recognize what gets in the way of accomplishing that. Our samskaras tend to block us from feeling connected to the whole, right? They make us feel separate when in fact we are all actually connected. It's our experiences of samskaras, these deep patterns within us, that are in fact separating us. Maybe if you're practicing in a class, you might start to notice our habits. Do you always step back or forward with the same foot every time? Farron, I always step forward with my right foot. I literally cannot step forward with my left foot. I don't know why.
Same. I'm a right footer.
Are you?
Yep.
Always
right
the right.
Footer, forward and backward.
Me too. Twinsies. What about, do you always turn your cheek to the same side when you lay down on your stomach before a cobra or a locust pose?
I smashed my face into the mat.
See, I'm a glasses wearer, so the whole forehead down on the mat thing, especially if you're sweating, just smushes up your glasses and
you wear your
makes
glasses when you practice yoga?
Farron, I'm blind. I can't. I mean, I'm not blind, but yeah, no. I mean, oftentimes I'll close my eyes, but if I go to open them, especially in balance, if I didn't have on my glasses, I can't see anything. If I take off my glasses right now, I can't see anything. I can make the
practice harder for yourself if you just don't use glasses, and then you have to really be in the moment and really be tuned in so you don't fall over.
I was at a training once, or was it a training or a class? I forget. And I took off my glasses and I folded them up. He put the arms in. It's folding them, right? Yeah. So I folded them up and I put them down on the ground next to my mat. And the teacher was so unaware of anything happening in the room that she was walking around and she stepped on them and broke my glasses.
No.
Yeah.
Okay,
and
keep your glasses on.
Well, I now have to keep a spare pair in my car because if that happened, I couldn't get home. I can't see.
My God.
Focus.
We digress.
We're good at this. What about, do you always repeat the same thoughts in your mind during Shavasana? Do you notice that?
Yeah, I'm always how long are we going to have here? How long is this Shavasana going to
be? What about, do you find yourself mindlessly moving through the actions without connection to your breath? You just know what you're doing, so you just do it without connecting.
Sometimes.
Yeah. What about off of your mat? Do you have any Wow, I can't talk. Are there habitual patterns in your actions, in your thoughts, in your stories?
I have a really surface level one that is like the stupidest thing ever, but it's something that I've noticed about myself. And I'm just like really happy that I even noticed it.
Oh my God,
Do
tell
you want
me.
to hear
I'm
it?
so curious. Of course I want to
Oh
hear.
my gosh. So when I'm driving and I like make a risky move, gonna run a red light, or I mean like a yellow that's going to turn to red, or
Yeah.
like I'm going to cut somebody off in the next lane, or just like any type of risky move, I sing to myself like any random little piece of any song that just like mine, like I don't know, my mind has in it. I like will sing it to myself as I'm doing the action to like help comfort myself. I think I don't know why. I don't know why, but it's literally every time. Even if someone's in the passenger seat next to me and we're having a conversation, if I'm going to cut somebody off, I start singing like mid sentence. I will just like like actual songs that like are on the radio, like just
And
little
as we're
pieces of them.
winding down the road, like a little stairway to heaven.
Yeah,
All
I.
right, that's amazing.
It's so weird.
It's not weird. It's amazing. It's you. So I guess like with this question of are some scars useful to you or do they no longer serve you? Just
I don't
singing.
know if that's even useful. I guess it helps me feel better that I'm like taking a risky move, but I'm going to sing to myself as I do it.
It's like an association, right? If I'm singing this pleasant song, then I'm not really doing something that's that risky because then I wouldn't be
Yeah,
able
then
to
everything
sing.
is gonna turn out okay. Like, yeah, this lane change will
Mm.
be fine because I'm singing, and I'm gonna make this red light because I'm singing. Like, it's so stupid, but maybe it
I,
serves me.
I mean, I hope that you always finish your songs or maybe stop risking so much. I know
I'm a
you
crazy
like
driver.
risks. I know. I know. I've been in your car. You get the point. You're starting to really think about these habits that you might not even realize exist for you. Like it helps to just pause and think about if once you notice them, is there a purpose to them? Do they serve you? Or are you just mindlessly doing something for no reason at all? Or is there something much deeper? So I'll give you a personal example. This one I'm still kind of working through because I just woke up to it a little bit ago. So last year, Farron, you know this, other people may not, I hurt my back and I hurt
Mhm.
it in such a way that I like could not do any of the physical activity that I love. I could no longer run. I couldn't practice asana or at least active asana. I could learn how to like restorative yoga a little bit. It was a struggle to do anything. In this process, before I like totally gave up doing things for a while, I learned that when my legs were straight and I posterior tilted my pelvis, like a cat style thing, like if you're doing a cat pose, you posterior tilt, that I was having nerve pain in my body. So I learned to avoid these physical poses for the fear of creating pain. So flash forward after a heck of a lot of PT and rolfing and body work and all the things that I've done to really not have much nerve pain at all, my mind still thinks I'm going to. And I start to either avoid all of these kinds of poses or I'm so careful that I don't ever really get to fully experience the potential that I have because I'm so stuck in this fear response of like, I'm going to have nerve pain and then I'm not going to feel good. And I'm not going to be able to do these things rather than realizing like that's old news. It's not true anymore. I'm just acting out of that pattern, that fear. Yeah.
Totally get it.
Whether it's singing with risky moves or fearfully avoiding yoga poses, you can start to get curious and potentially solve problems just by studying our samskaras.
When we start to excavate those samskaras, those grooves, those patterns, we can uncover our unconscious behavior. Seriously, like singing while I'm driving just during those moves, like it was completely unconscious until one day I was like, what? Like,
Mm.
did I just do that? Do I do that all the time? And I started noticing I literally do it all the time, even when I'm conscious of it, which is crazy. I'm like, I
Well,
still
it's
sing. I can't stop.
but, well, it also seems like it's keeping you in the now, right? Like you're
It,
noticing, like, oh, I'm conscious of the fact that I'm doing this every single
yeah.
time, and I'm here, and I'm now, and I'm realizing this where I was not here at all before, and I was just doing it.
Yeah. It's all yoga.
Love it.
But yeah, we often go through life reacting unconsciously, and we're just driven by our samskaras. By becoming aware of these patterns, we can break free from automatic reactions and make more conscious choices in our actions and our responses. We can choose to react and not respond. And it helps me in everything I do, especially when it comes to parenting kids, right?
Oh my God, yes, totally, for sure. I get that, and I always need to continue to practice that.
Yeah. And I think I don't know, maybe I'm misspeaking, but it's we learn to respond instead of react, right? Because react is like the boom, like this is my instant, this is my samskara. But then if we like pause, notice our habit, our pattern, then we can choose the way that we respond. So I think I said it backwards the first time.
Yeah, that's okay. But in reality, it's also that just by taking that pause, we're stopping the automatic reaction. And you might still choose to respond in the same way that you would have reacted because that's serving you and
Mhm.
it's useful.
Yeah.
but you're conscious about it and you're bringing your awareness to it versus just like doing it without thought. Or maybe you realize once you recognize this that it's not serving you. So you're like, I'm going to make a change. I'm going to make a shift,
Yeah.
even if it's hard. Could go either way.
Yeah. So either way, samskaras are just like recognizing the pattern. The practice that we're talking about is learning what your samskaras are. Cool. So samskaras often, but not always, manifest as repetitive negative thoughts or emotions or behaviors. So identifying those patterns gives us a chance to interrupt them and replace them with healthier and more positive alternatives. Samskaras can contribute to our stress level and emotional upheaval we all experience when we react habitually to challenging situations. But understanding and working with these patterns can lead us to greater emotional resilience and inner peace. I like this one a lot because at the studio I manage, I really love teaching connected couples yoga workshops. And it fits right in here because recognizing our samskaras that we have can help us to lead to better communication and healthier relationships with our partners. We can take a moment to pause and have the opportunity to choose to respond to others from a place of mindfulness and empathy rather than from a place of reactivity based in our deep seated habits, our samskaras.
I love this, Farron, especially as a social worker. All of this like deeply resonates with me a lot. But before we can change a samskara, we really do have to first be able to be aware that it even exists. And this can bring up a lot of resistance and a fear for what we might learn about ourselves. And I think that some of the challenges we can face in this process are just good old resistance and denial, right? One of the primary challenges is the resistance to acknowledging and accepting the existence of our own samskaras. We can be in denial about our own patterns of our behavior and our thoughts, finding it really difficult to confront these uncomfortable aspects of ourselves. This is really raw, hard work. And we don't always want to do raw, hard work. The idea that we talk about, not today, but we'll talk about it at some point, I promise, of tapas, that really helps us stay and dig in, right? Staying in that heat, that emotional and physical rigor and discomfort helps us make these changes and get through that discomfort. We might also feel like emotionally uncomfortable when we do this kind of work because exploring deep-seated patterns and habits can bring up intense emotions. You might be sad, you might be angry, you might actually fear things or have anxiety. And these emotions don't always feel good, so we might avoid them by refusing to do the work. Okay, this one's really big for like everybody that I ever talk to. Self-judgment. Sometimes we can judge ourselves really harshly when we discover certain samskaras, leading us to criticize ourselves and feeling inadequate. And this can really hinder the process of self-discovery and harm us a ton.
I
So it can
found
take
that
a
we've been actually doing that a lot, like just in the creation of this podcast. Sometimes like we'll do something and be like, "Oh my god, I'm an idiot." But like we're really not.
Oh, you're right. It's between the amount of times that I talk about a samskara, the amount of times that I either put myself down or apologize for something that really does not need to be apologized for is mind-boggling to me. It's
Yeah.
mind-boggling. I don't know why. I guess it's like this feeling of feeling inferior or not confident in what you're doing. I'm not really sure, but it's a very prevalent thing that happens. Just feeling like everything is your fault, right? I'm thinking more, I
Mhm.
guess, relationally, like apologizing for something that I had nothing to do with, or like you interrupt me and I apologize. Right? Like I do stuff like that all the time. And my husband is constantly being like, "Why are you apologizing?" I'm like, "I don't know, I'm sorry." He's like, "Why are you apologizing for apologizing?" It's a samskara. There's something about feeling the need to take on that burden, I think.
Huh. Interesting samskara to explore, continue to explore.
Live right here on this podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway, I do think it takes a lot of patience and persistence to work through identifying and changing our unconscious patterns. And it's not usually a really quick fix or a linear process. It requires patience and persistent self reflection, which can be really challenging in our fast paced world. We like fast things. I like when Amazon Prime comes to my house, even the same day, maybe. If that happens, like I'm really happy. I want things to be happening fast. Farron does too. Remember when I introduced you?
Me too. I know. I do everything fast, super fast. And I love Amazon Prime same day delivery as well.
It's the best.
It
It's the
really
best.
is.
I don't think our children know what it's like to have to wait for something or go to a store to find it.
Oh, absolutely not. Or like have the internet start up. Do you remember the old modem sounds? No one has to deal with that anymore. It's just like instant and all the
Or
time.
Or like you pick up the house phone and the internet is making that noise and you like kick somebody off the internet or something. That used to happen.
Heidi,
All
we
right.
sound really freaking old right now.
I mean, I'm older than you by
5
almost 6
years?
years, 5
Oh,
years.
shoot.
We know how good I am at math. This one's huge. Limiting beliefs. Samskaras often stem from deep-seated limiting beliefs about ourselves. I think challenging and reframing these beliefs can be really hard, and they can require external support. Doing this on your own is not always enough. Being a social worker myself, I find it really useful to have a therapist or at least a support system in place when you're doing this hard work. And what about this one? This one's super common, repeating patterns. Some people might find themselves repeatedly falling back into old habits and patterns even after gaining awareness of them. Breaking free from these cycles can be a long-term process. Like they say, one step forward, two steps back. I got another one. Sorry, I'm talking so much. This is a big term these days. Vulnerability, right? Opening up to self-discovery and sharing our experiences with other people can make us feel really vulnerable and raw. So these are all really big, hard things. Super hard. Like so hard that it might make some people unwilling to explore their samskaras. Or they'll start and then freak out and run away. But Farron, don't you think that the results of excavating and studying our samskaras are worth it?
It is worth it. And I'm also one of those people that does not like exploring them. I don't want to know about my samskaras.
As you learn about them, though, Farron, I am here for you.
I
I'm here to
appreciate
support
that so
you.
much. We're here for each other. And that's why we
I know.
Marco Polo all day long. Because when we
I
do this
think
hard work, it's real hard. We got to tell somebody about it.
we do. And don't you think that Marco Polo should probably sponsor our podcast?
Oh, they absolutely need to. Back to the benefits. So, when you do that hard work of exploring your samskaras, you get to become more in tune with your thoughts, your emotions, your behaviors, and allows you to understand yourself on a deeper level. And that's great. Like, of course, I want to understand myself. There's the benefit of clarity. You uncover hidden patterns. You can gain clarity about why you react the way that you do in different situations. You can experience some emotional healing by acknowledging and addressing past wounds and traumas that are digging into those samskaras. It's not as easy as just realizing that you have a samskara and then poof, you're healed, you're done. But I mean, I wish it was, but
I
it
mean,
can
that'd be
be
like
the
magic.
result. It can be by doing the result of a lot of hard work and deep work. You can find greater empathy for others as you understand your own struggles and challenges. You have the opportunity to become more empathetic and compassionate towards others because you realize that you're not the only one with samskaras. Everyone has them. Your improved self awareness and ability to communicate more consciously can lead to healthier and more fulfilling relationships, or choosing to make a change to some of the relationships you're currently in and the way that they function.
Mm.
You may have an easier time making decisions. Have you ever found yourself in a frozen state and unable to make a decision? When you have a clearer understanding of your samskaras, you can begin to have an easier time making decisions that are more aligned with your authentic self. So, yeah, going back to that, like exploring who you really are, finding your authentic self, then from there you make those decisions. And this one is big, the benefit of releasing limiting beliefs. Yes, take that in. You get to let go of limiting beliefs that have held you back, allowing for personal and spiritual expansion. Okay, this last one is kind of lofty and big, but a sense of liberation. As you work through and release old patterns, you have the opportunity to experience a sense of liberation and inner freedom. It's not linear, but it's an outcome that you can certainly begin to have when you're freed from the burden and the weight of the samskaras that you carry around, often without even knowing it.
Well, all that feels really worth it to me, even if I have a hard time. And I guess even if it takes an entire lifetime. And as soon as you create some like resolution, you're going to find new ones. Never stop digging, right? Here are some ideas or phrases that we can use throughout the class to remind our students of what we're practicing, the thread we weave as the class moves on beyond the Dharma talk or the introduction of our theme and its importance. Notice your habits. This is the first step to changing them. Or bring awareness to your patterns in both your body and thoughts. Do they serve you? Those are some. I mean, I'm sure there's others, but those ones came to me.
Yeah, no, those are great, Heidi. You can definitely keep repeating those throughout your class and just having them be inquisitive of themselves and their practice.
Yeah.
In addition to those, we have some tools to help enhance your classes, from song inspo to mantras to mudras to pranayamas and specific meditations. So all of those are listed on our inspo sheet. You can find that at themeweaversyoga.com/episode 5. But let's talk about a peak posture that we might associate with samskaras. For a class on samskaras, I like to work toward a familiar peak pose, which is half pigeon, but in a completely different and active way, so that you're not just letting gravity just stretch you out and pull you down to the ground. You instead activate your muscles. So you engage your butt and hip flexor muscles by pressing the outer shin of the front leg into the ground when you're in half pigeon. And as you continue to build up to a new way of experiencing this familiar pose, you can open your eyes wide to notice your habits, because noticing them is the first step to changing them.
I love that. And you could do this also with a pranayama, a breath work practice. I like to do the 3-part breath where we have to slow down and notice all 3 parts on the inhales and the exhales. And this lets us slow down and become more aware of ourselves. And we know that samskaras are subconscious and instinctive, right? They happen as a reaction often before we even notice. So when we use this breath to slow down, it gives us more opportunities to think about what we really are doing habitually and potentially make a shift, right?
Yeah, we just do those things automatically. So it's cool to like take notice of them. Along those lines, we both really like doing this specific meditation practice related to samskaras. We call it meditation, the thread visualization. Heidi,
Yeah,
tell us
see,
how to do it.
yeah, do you see what we did there? We got it back to the theme, the thread of visualization. All right. So once you get your students or yourself into a comfortable seated space, then what you would do is imagine a thread, which represents the threads of your past experiences and samskaras, gently woven into the fabric of your being. So you'd visualize this thread as a color or a texture. And with each inhale, imagine drawing this thread of the past inward, weaving it into the present moment. And then as you exhale, release any tension or attachment to this thread. And then you can continue this visualization, exploring the threads that have shaped your life and how these threads are interwoven into the tapestry of your existence. You'd approach these threads with curiosity and with compassion, acknowledging the lessons and experiences that they represent. And as time goes on, you can try to let go of any of these threads that don't serve you any longer or that create tension for you. You have the power to rewrite your tapestry.
Can
How
I
cool is
cut the
that?
threads? Can I
You
just cut
can.
them like with my imaginary scissors and my visualization? Can I just be like, bam, you're gone?
Yeah. Yeah.
I
That
love
sounds
that.
pretty powerful.
That's cool.
It's
I
just
want to do
a
that
really cool
meditation like
way.
right now.
I mean, let's wait till we wrap it up because people probably don't want to listen to us sitting here in silence as we're doing it. But it gives you this really cool opportunity to release old patterns and weave this more intentional and conscious tapestry of your life. It's pretty
Yes.
awesome.
Love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. So it's a cool meditative experience. But as you're winding down your physical practice and preparing to walk off of your mat, you can start to notice how your yoga practice does not have to end. Every moment is an opportunity to create a new way of showing up in your life, a new opportunity to bring awareness to your habits, an opportunity to self reflect and notice the thoughts, actions, and emotions that show up and serve us or not. And as you walk off of your mat, you can set an intention again of awareness to the samskaras that show up for you. Because awareness, we know, is the first step that we need in order to make a change and move with ease toward a state of samadhi. So let's put it all together.
That was a beautiful conclusion to your class. But let's go back over the 6 steps really quickly. We named the theme,
Okay.
number 1, Sutra
Yep.
1.50, about reaching the state of samadhi. Samadhi. I always struggle with that word, Heidi. Samadhi.
Yes, good.
Samadhi. Samadhi. This blissful result of living yoga, and how we find this bliss when we're no longer impacted or influenced by our samskaras. 2, what problems does it solve? We resolve unconscious behaviors or patterns that get in our way of finding a real state of bliss. Number 3, what challenges might arise? It's super hard to study ourselves and be willing to acknowledge the things that we may not like, that we do or believe, and then be willing to not just notice them, but then also choose to make shifts in our behavior. But what are the results? Number 4, personal liberation and the potential of reaching samadhi, the state of oneness. I just said it right, Heidi.
You did. I heard it. I heard it. You did it.
Said it. Oh my God. See, I'm breaking my samskaras right now in real time. It's live.
Mazel tov.
Ah, thank
Oh,
you.
sorry. You don't know what that means, do you?
It means
It,
like good job.
oh, yeah. Like it's Hebrew for congratulations. Sorry. I like
There
randomly
we
throw out
go.
Yiddish and Hebrew.
I'm going to just start speaking Spanish. Number 5, our thematic through-line phrase to weave into our class. You can say, notice your habits. This is the first step to changing them. Or bring awareness to your patterns in both your body and thoughts. Do they serve you? You can conclude by wrapping it up and reminding your students that they can take this practice off of their mat and as they walk throughout their day, continuing their own practice of yoga. Catch our inspo sheet at our website, themeweaversyoga.com/episode 5 to bring this theme alive in your own voice and practice and teaching. Follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You can also reach out to us there or email us to let us know how this class lands with your students.
Yeah, we really want to hear from you. It's kind of boring. Well, it's not boring. I love talking to Farron, but we're doing this for a reason. So let us know how it's landing. We want to be here to deliver for you and support you in your teaching. If you're unsure of the structure of how to weave your theme throughout the class, please always feel free to go back and listen to episode 2 for some background and inspiration. Until next time, we weave you in peace.